Pretty Woman is a 1990 romantic comedy, very famous, starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. It made Julia Roberts a superstar. The story follows Vivian Ward, a prostitute working on Hollywood Boulevard, who is hired by wealthy businessman Edward Lewis for a week to accompany him to various social and business events. What begins as a purely transactional arrangement gradually develops into genuine affection between two characters. And it taught an entire generation of women that if you are a whore, you will meet a rich man who will fall in love with you.
She was a hooker and made it sound so great.
Okay. You gotta get the fuck out of here.
Coming online in the 90s with Sex and the City and stuff, there was a lot of this messaging going around that you could just whore it up and end up with a rich dude. And a lot of bitches I know did.
Yeah.
They got that bag, and I don't deny any of them their right to learn the lessons we all learned from Pretty Woman. It's funny, though, that she was like a street walking hooker.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
an escort call girl.
No, this wasn't like a high class. He just picked her up off the street, which is next level.
20 for oral, 50 for half and half. Anal will cost you extra.
He initially hires her because he needs an escort for high society functions, which is exactly why you would go get a street walking hooker. He wants a fancy lady to accompany him on his business deals. So he drives down Hollywood Boulevard to find a woman.
She took off her like platinum blonde wig. He realized she was a classy lady.
Red.
Better.
He was like, oh, without those boots and that wig, I would never know you were walking the street on Hollywood Boulevard. You know, she gets a taste of the good life. She goes shopping.
Big mistake. Big. Huge. I have to go shopping now.
And he flies her to go to the opera on a private jet.
Oh!
And as they spend time together, Vivian begins to change Edward's perspective on life and relationships while he introduces her to a world of luxury and refinement she's never experienced. It's the hooker with the heart of gold, you see. One of the oldest stories in American 90s movies. They're not really after your money. They just want to teach you how to love like a man and not be a shark. It's actually an insane story. It ends with Edward offering to have Vivian come with him back to New York, and he'll put her up in a great condo. And she turns him down because she wants the fairy tale.
I want the fairy tale.
And then he later shows up in a white limo with roses to sweep her off her feet. White limos were really big in the 90s. Limos in general really peaked in the 90s. So that's the basic gist of the movie. And I was allowed to watch this movie for some reason. When I was 12 years old, I was pretty young to be watching this movie.
I hate to point out the obvious, but you are in fact a hooker, and you are my employee.
You don't own me. I decide, okay? I say who, I say when, I say who.
And it was my favorite movie.
And your younger sisters watched with you.
Yeah, they were young. They didn't like it as much as me, though. I don't think they were old enough to appreciate that.
I was not allowed to see this movie when it came out.
And that's why Maggie was never a whore. And I was.
I've never treated you like a prostitute.
You just did.
I wonder how many women can trace back their whore roots to Pretty Woman.
Ladies, how many of you can trace back your whore? I mean, 90s women were a different breed. The more I go down these rabbit holes and watch the content that I've just been in like, what was going on in the 90s? It was a wild time to be a young lady. And we got a lot of this messaging. This story in and of itself is so funny because they haven't made a movie like this recently. I'm actually surprised they haven't remade it now that all sex workers are heroes. This was very progressive for its time to have it be like, oh, she's kind of the hero of the story. And he was like this bad guy who... And then she almost gets raped by the dude from Seinfeld.
Yeah, Jason Alexander.
Ow! Come on! Oh, get off me!
By George. She almost gets raped by George.
I'm not treating you to lunch anymore.
It's hard to see George as anything other than George, which is the problem with sitcoms, that you're so ingrained forever as that character in the mind. So every time I saw that movie, I was like, this is just George trying to rape poor Vivian.